Everybody, hope you're well. Hope you've had a great week and having a great weekend as well. So I'm going to start with the Mirka visit because I sort of glossed over that a little bit last time. It was very interesting. There were lots to see and do. This is only the second time that they've sort of reached out to influencer types. The first one I was invited to, I said before, but couldn't make it, unfortunately, due to COVID. That was when Leo from Handicraft Channel and Keith Brown from Regular Brown went. They got some good information, which they absolutely did not share because of the non-disclosure agreement. But it was a very interesting day. I was there with a couple of other guys. I said, didn't exactly bond with them, especially. They were kind of Mirka fanboys to an extent, and I was invited there because of the conflicting reports that I'd had about the Mirka sanders. Anyway, it was very interesting. There's lots to see and do. They gave a sort of hour-long pitch chat about their business, all being very open and honest up to a point. It's interesting. They are by far predominantly involved in the automotive business. It's all about big industrial applications for their sanders and for their abrasives. The irritating little bits of woodwork stuff that they do, and painters and decorators, that's a very, very, very small part of their business. So yeah, I mean, we got to see all kinds of bits and pieces. We had the pitch about how it's a family-owned business and it's all caring and sharing and open and wonderful, and they're great to work for, and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. And then we went down into the sort of the lab workshopy bit. We had a demo of the Mirka robotic arm, which is really interesting. They had it sort of set up, standing a shaker style panel door. You can see the applications for that on a production line for cars. Definitely, sanding, polishing, repetitive tasks over and over, bonnets and that kind of thing. Whereas doing it on a shaker style panel door, you just put that through a drum sander or a big belt sander, and then clean up the inside panel with a hand sander, probably. But it was interesting anyway. And then we had a lot of fun with some small sanders. One of the things that we did, they had these little sort of coasters that were roughly sanded, and basically we worked through the grits on them and finished up with a polishing compound, and they came up really, really clear. I've never done any kind of acrylic work at all before. Closest I've probably got is trying to polish out the scratches in an acrylic bath with Duraglit or Brasso. But that was really good. That was really interesting to do, to go from a P80 all the way through to I think it was 2000 Abralon, which I have used before for other things, and then with a polishing compound or a little sort of mop on the thing. We were using some really, really cute little cordless sander polishers with a 77mm head on them. I asked, this is really nice, Oh yeah, cordless, really nice weight, really felt good in the hand. They're over £600 plus VAT, and apparently they sell thousands of them to car production lines. They have so many of them on the line because they're replacing all their air tools with cordless. One of the things that I hadn't really thought about is that although air-powered tools are mechanically very simple, you buy one and it lasts forever, they need a massive compressor somewhere which consumes a huge amount of power to work. So gradually, the eco-friendly car production lines are moving towards cordless electric more than anything. So yeah, very, very interesting. Once we'd finished with the little cordless sanders, then we went on to the big sanders. Mirka introduced a thing called a Leros, a long reach random orbital sander or something. It is a big 9-inch 225mm random orbital. We were using the short version, and I've got to say, it was, you look at it and you think, what sort of applications are there? We were just polishing up some corian. We're taking matting the surface down, and then bringing it back up to a semi-gloss. And that thing covered the ground so quickly. I mean, to the extent that I was looking at this thinking, not that they were similarly priced actually to these little cordless sanders. If I was doing any kind of decorating, or if I was still making big flush doors for wardrobes, for example, I'd be all over one of those, because you would get the finish on a big door in no time at all. Absolutely fantastic. I would have one of those in a heartbeat. So very interesting. That's the kind of thing that I would almost never get hands on with. And very, very good to be there with a couple of other guys. I think I said before, the guys I was with were a bit more sort of Mirka fanboys. They were very enthusiastic. They had a lot of Mirka gear already, and enthusiastic about the brand and everything else. Matt at Badger Workshop was supposed to be coming along to this session as well, but he had to pull out, unfortunately. I could have used him as backup. Because as it was, I was the only sort of, the thorn in everybody's side, asking the awkward questions. One of the things I wanted to talk about in particular with them was the failure rates. When Keith and Leo went before, failure rates were high, sort of alarmingly high, I would say. They claim that they are less so now, half what they were, but they were still, they're in, again, I can't really discuss what was told, but let's say they're in single figures now, which is something. So 9 out of 10 people who buy one Adiros will be fine, but not 19 out of 20. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that, and we got a little bit of information about that. I forgot to ask the question when I was there, and I've since asked it and had a sort of non-answer back today about the Metabo relationship that they have, because there's a what I believe is the older Mirka Adiros, the pre-Bluetooth version, now branded as a Metabo sander. And I was just curious as to, well, is that made by Metabo under license? Is it manufactured by Mirka for Metabo in a Metabo suit? If it is, who's responsible for repairs for that sort of thing? I was just curious, and the answer came back was, that's under an NDA, we can't discuss it. Which is fair enough. If it is, but still kind of frustrating for a worthy, open, transparent company. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was warranty transfers, because one of the things I discovered when I looked into it earlier on was that the Mirka warranty is to the individual, not to the tool. I think I mentioned last time, one of the things I was interested in doing, there's a friends and family sort of discount scheme they do, whereby we who were visiting could have purchased a Adiros or a Dios at a discount. But obviously I don't want to keep it. I want to use it for 6 months and move it on. But obviously I don't want to saddle somebody with a tool that if it is known to break, as it is, it's going to land somebody with a big repair bill. So anyway, the long and short of it was that they said that in this one circumstance, they would be able to transfer the warranty, but it's not what they normally do. Again, weren't very forthcoming about why that is. You'd think if they they'd be warranting the tool, not the purchaser of that tool. A bit of a strange situation, I tend to think. There's a thing with all these companies where there's an amount of perfectly understandable brand enthusiasm. It's their job. That's what they do. They're in the marketing department. I've seen this at Trend as well. But you get all this stuff about the Mirka abrasives and how they're special. And I've had some, came away with samples of all this iridium and whatever it's called, Galaxy, made from unobtainium crystals that instead of just wearing away, they actually they come off in shards, so it's like it's self-sharpening. And I'm sure they believe it. I'm not doubting their bona fides in any way, but I've had this sales pitch so many times that when I come to use it and it's just sandpaper, it's actually quite disappointing. And maybe it's the wrong application. Maybe if you are on an automotive production line and using 7 sheets of sandpaper less per day spread across the whole line saves you a lot of money. Maybe that's where the difference is. But I think for folks like us who are just doing woodworking and a bit of paintwork prep, I don't really see that difference in the end product. One of those things. Talking of brands and brand enthusiasm, I wanted to give you a quick update on the Matchfit stuff. Let me just rejig the camera and then we'll talk. So I did the benchtop with the Matchfit Microjig dovetail clamp tracks not so long back, and I just thought I'd give you a quick update on it because it sort of relates to the drill press table as well. I've had a couple of sort of big chunks of the fibre colour come out where it was already routed out for the sacrificial strip, so that doesn't bode particularly well. And the long and the short of it is I'm not a fan, although I don't object to the actual system specifically. It works well enough. I like the idea of being able to clamp close to the edge. That's useful. But what I'm used to doing is being able to pop a clamp in somewhere and turning that clamp around wherever it needs to go. Whereas with this stuff, fairly obviously, you put it in and it's got to go straight in. And the other thing that sort of catches me out, and this is partly my own muscle memory, because I'm used to be able to do that. I'm used to being able to just put a clamp in and get it where I need to be. With this, I'm halfway there and I realise that I need a clamp on the other side or somewhere. And you can't feed it in from here, and you can't just feed it in from here. And because I've got the fence on the end of the other side of the bench, it's actually really awkward to get in, especially if you're in the middle. Obviously, if you're at the edge here, you can just feed these in where they need to be. But it's just, I don't see the benefits of it, of the dovetail thing, over and above regular T-track or regular T-slots with a T-slot cutter in a router. I just don't see the benefit of it. The clamps themselves are fine. Not, the little plastic dinguses, I guess, will work well enough. The clamps are really nice, but I just don't see the benefit to me of the dovetail thing and of the track. I think I said before, having at the bench top full of holes and with the dovetail tracks in has actually made it sag, and I've had to chock it up a little bit, brace it a little bit underneath. And just sort of carrying on from that sort of theme, really, I mentioned when I did the drill press video, I'm doing this on Friday, by the way. Get you a little bit closer. That's better. Okay, so yeah, doing this on Friday. This video went out today. It's doing, I was going to say it's doing well. It's doing bang average, which is doing well compared to the other videos that have gone out. But it's gone well. I mentioned in this that I thought about using the Matchfit stuff and routing tracks for it. And the reason I didn't do that is that I've got lots of these little T-bolts and hardware, and they fit in absolutely fine. What I didn't say in the video, because I'm going to save that for a little Instagram post probably, is that because I've made my own T-track out of 6mm plywood, the little green fittings will slide in there as well. You do need to push them in a little bit forcefully the first time, because it takes the edge off the little plastic piece. But interestingly, those and the clamps as well, with a little bit of additional persuasion the first time, will actually go in there. So interesting to note. We'll see if these little things have any real application for this kind of thing. But yeah, I'm quite pleased to find that they do actually work. I don't know how useful that's going to be. Maybe as some kind of hold down or something. But we'll see. I had a couple of comments on the drill press. My old pal Dennis at Hooked on Wood has just done a video about his ultimate drill press table thing. I shot him a quick message just to say, sorry dude, I'm doing one as well. It's the complete opposite of yours, apart from the fact that they're, you know, birch pine, dark grey, MDF. And what he's done a circular inset in the middle that's slightly offset with a variety of different holes in it, so we can turn it round. And a few people have said, why didn't you do that? Well, you know, obviously I didn't do it because Dennis has done it. And secondly, that's actually a much more complicated thing to do, whereas this little square one is quick and easy, which is what you need for a 50 quid drill press. And the other thing is the table on this isn't cranked. So on a lot of nicer drill presses, the table has a hand crank to raise and lower it. This one doesn't. So as you raise it and lower it, it swings slightly. And by having a square insert, a square sacrificial cover with a hole in the centre, it means that I can actually get this back and centred just by using the drill itself. So quick and easy to do that, quick and easy to make, and appropriate for the type and quality of machine that this is. A couple of quick name checks. I want to do a quick congratulations to Daffith, the deaf maker. Daffith made it through the first round of Handmade, Britain's best woodworker on Channel 4 in the week. The first project that they do is they have to make a table in 2 days, which is inspired by a particular country. I'd still be scratching my head trying to figure out what they meant by that. But in the middle of this, they also take you away to try and do marquetry or something crazy sort of situation to put yourself into. As always, there's some good work on show and some very overly ambitious projects on the show, given that the time allocator was only 2 working days. But there's some good work done. Daffith went for a nice, simple Welsh style dining table, which looked great. And yeah, well worth a watch if you have the time. Wednesdays at 8 p.m, Channel 4. Stick it in your record list if you haven't got time to watch it live. The other thing is I've already done the spinny wheel thing and the Danish Cord bundle. That goes to, congratulations, Carla Edwards. Carla, I'll be in touch to get your address, and I'll get that off to you as soon as I can. Can't say too much about it. I have a trip coming up, so I may not have a Wednesday video out this week. If I don't, I'll pop out a couple of those older blog posts instead. As I say, can't say much about it for now. I'll have a lot more to say about it next week. Sorry about that quick microphone change. I hope this is sounding okay. But I'm going to call it done for this week. Thank you so much, as always, for your amazing support. It's fantastic to have so many of you over at the new place at 10 Minute Workshop Plus. And hopefully I'll be looking forward to welcoming more of you there soon, very soon, I hope, because this is actually the last of the September vlogs. The next one's going to be into October. And my apologies as well to the top tier members on the new place, because cannot confirm or deny that I'm going away next week. I haven't managed to get the live chat in place yet. I will probably do that the weekend following. But that's it for this week. Thank you ever so much for your amazing support. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, take care.